Welcome to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. Brought to you by Elite Consulting Partners, it's the only podcast offering unfiltered guidance and direct advice for all things concerning financial advisors, RIAs, and the practitioners in the wealth management business. Learn more and subscribe today at eliteconsultingpartners.com/podcast. And now, here's your host, Frank LaRosa.
Hey everybody, welcome to Advisor Talk. I am Frank LaRosa, and I am joined once again, and as always, maybe not always, but most of the time, by the Executive Vice President of Sales for Elite Consulting Partners, Stacey Frank. Stacey with an E. How you doing?
I'm doing great. As always, happy to be back.
Okay.
I think I keep saying that.
Yeah, that's okay. Happy to be back.
Okay, happy to be back.
So today we wanted to, we just recorded another podcast, which was awesome, and it really under the context of like complacency. But one of the things we want to talk about today is something that's near and dear to our heart, and that is, and I guess coming into football season, I got all this stuff going on in my head, right? About not being afraid, don't be afraid to change.
Be afraid of
not changing. But I'm bummed.
That was good.
That's how we did a podcast together. That was pretty good. We didn't even rehearse that.
No. Just do it again.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Like connected.
Right.
And, like we're coming into the football season, obviously baseball season, right? But football season is interesting because, the winner of Super Bowl the year before, you're always thinking about like, how are they going to change? What, or the teams that were really good last year? And are they just going to come back and be the same old football team they were last year? The same old offense and the same defensive schemes and all that other stuff,
how
right?
How mundane, how boring.
Right. But we all know what happens when a really good team doesn't evolve and change. And that's something that I think if you're a business owner, whether you're a practitioner at a W-2 firm, so the way I define the difference between a practitioner and a business owner is a practitioner is someone at a W-2 firm where you're not really paying all the bills, right? You're not responsible for the employees, the taxes, the rent, the utilities, all that other stuff, right? You're a practitioner. There's nothing wrong with that. Just saying that's how I define it. Versus a business owner where you're independent and you're paying for everything in some form or fashion, right?
Running the operations.
Right?
Looking at the P&L every day.
The money comes out. The way I look at it is when you boil it down, when you buy things for the company or you hire people, does the money come out of your own personal checking account or not? Okay. But this topic really pertains to both sides because you can be a practitioner and have a really good business, and if you don't evolve in certain things, in this particular instance, like your mission statement, right, or your branding, it's going to get stale, it's going to get old, it's not very exciting, and you're going to lose some traction, and that's something that firms need to go through, and so be afraid of not changing. If you've run a practice and you're an independent business owner and you haven't changed your logo or website or mission statement for 10 or 20 years, like you're missing something because you cannot tell me that your business today resembles your business from 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. So why is your mission statement the same?
Right? You have to keep up your vision and your why and your mission statement with where you want your business to go. It certainly can't be, I'm sure when you started Elite Consulting, 13 years ago, that your vision then is very different than where we sit today at almost 70 people.
Right.
Our vision
is different. Our logo is different. Like 3 times over. Our website's been changed a dozen times.
Our email domain has changed.
Our email's changed several times because you evolve as you bring on people on your team and your business and new clients for advisors. As you're bringing on more clients, so you're getting better at what you do for a living, and you start attracting maybe bigger clients or wealthier clients. Well, your services probably then evolve. You get better at what you do. Therefore, everything around you, including your mission statement, including your logo, including your value proposition, probably needs to be looked at every so many years, right? And I'll use the example of, and we're going through this right now as our company, and we're doing great. Like we're gonna have another record year, and our headcount is continuing to grow, and we're attracting great consultants to our firm that are coming from other firms, right? So everything's great. But my management team understands that, like, okay, I can see that look in Frank's eye where he's starting to think about, like, we need to get ahead of this thing a little bit because our logo was a little stale. So we're doing some things. We're not going to talk about it right now because it's pretty exciting. But we're developing and making some changes because who we are has changed and evolved, right?
Drastically.
Our internal mission statement, right? We've never really had an internal mission statement. Well, we're going to have one because that's really important to us. Right? Because we have really two sets of clients, right? We have our financial service, well, really three sets of clients. Our financial service clients, financial advisors, and the firms that they work with, right? And then we have our employees,
right?
Our clients.
They're absolutely.
Right. And so what is our mission statement for them? And so we're going through these things, and I thought it was ironic, and we've been working on this for a little while, but I thought it was ironic that I was just down at LPL, in their headquarters in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and they literally just went through this process.
Right. It's every company, really, in every industry. It's not just financial advisor practices.
Right.
But you need to...
Coca-Cola, Pepsi, look at all these firms, right? Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter changed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's now X. I'm not saying I like that, but whatever. I mean, Facebook is now Meta.
Meta?
Right? It's now Meta, right?
Okay.
I'm old, so I still say Facebook, but it's Meta, right? For you younger people out there. But your business, whether you're a single practitioner or an individual independent advisor, is no different. And you should be looking at your business the same exact way. And if you've had the same logo, like the worst is if your name of your company is your name. Like Bill Smith Wealth Management.
Right, well, it's not scalable. And who wants to...
Well, it's not scalable. It's not really all that original. I understand why some advisors want to do it, but it could be so much more meaningful. So we were, the advisor I was with this week in LPL, we were at dinner and we're talking about, because he's leaving a group and how he has the opportunity to basically brand himself because he had to be underneath their brand, right? And we were talking about what an exciting opportunity it is. And we were asking, well, what do you think? And he didn't really know. And so we were talking about, well, what is it? Well, what do you do for your clients? And what's your process? And what is the experience that you want your clients to get from you, right? Like he's in an area where there's a lot of water and seashores. And he's like, well, sailboats. I'm like, oh, dude, everyone uses sailboats. Like, please don't use sailboats or whatever. Lighthouses. Are we talking about lighthouses, right? Okay, there's a lighthouse for every other logo, right? It has to be unique to you, right?
More custom.
And if you already have a logo, as an example, again, we're picking on logos, right? Because that's a representation. Like we have a logo, and it's evolved over time. Even this is evolved, right?
Yeah, it has. It's
right. It used to have just the whole name. Now it's just the name, and this is evolved and all that stuff. But my point is, it's not that you need to completely change your logo entirely and lose that connection to your audience, but your logo should be, it's like clean. It's like you have
spring cleaning.
It's like spring cleaning, or you've been in a house, like for 20 years, and it's like time to like, okay.
Needs a facelift.
Just
a little bit of a facelift.
A little bit of a facelift, right? Freshen it up.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. And I think a lot of advisors underestimate what this stuff means to a business. And I say the business, the people in the business.
Yeah, it's representation of who you're hiring. So I think where we're starting this conversation is altering our mission statement, because we're hiring a whole different quality, a whole different set of employees, of consultants to our firm. And if our mission statement isn't keeping up with their visions, then we're sort of doing all of us a disservice. It's who we were, not who we are today, and where we want to be.
Right.
Just significantly greater than where 13 years ago.
Right. And I think that one of the things I'm sort of, I don't want to say came up with on my own, but I think that when people, I'll take credit because I don't see this that much. And maybe LPL should have called me instead of paying some other firm millions and millions of dollars. I could have helped them with that stuff. My point is, I think that when we talk about mission statements, a mission statement, everybody knows typically as a mission statement is, what is that? What do you do for your clients? We are creating two mission statements, a mission statement for our clients and a mission statement for our
the culture of our firm.
For the culture and who we are as a firm internally.
So
we call it like
important.
our internal mission statement.
Yep. So we're going to have, so essentially what you're saying is we're going to have two. We're going to have a major mission statement and then a sub-mission statement to drive that vision.
Well, we're going to have our company mission statement,
Yeah.
which is who we are to everybody in the financial service space, right? And then we have a mission statement for those of you that decide to join our firm. What's it going to be like to be here? We also have a mantra, which is, stay hungry and do what's required, which we all know. And I believe that's something that's missing in, I'll just say, society, generally speaking. I don't think people stay hungry enough and don't do what's required. So my kids, they're in college and, they're trying to do whatever they need to do. My thing is, don't do your best, because mom always says, "Oh, do your best, do your best, babe." I said, no, don't do your best. Do what's required. So my son's talking about he's getting his GPA up and I got to do this and this. I said, dude, you just need to do what's required to get that done. Like that's the environment that we live in.
Right, because that's more definable.
It's more definable.
Whereas doing your best is sometimes subjective and emotional a little bit, right?
Well, I did my best. I stopped studying.
Right, on whose standards?
Based on whose standards.
Right.
Right. Do what's required to accomplish that goal, whatever it is, whether it's a financial goal, a material goal, an emotional goal, right? If one of your goals is, I want to be able to go on vacation with my wife to Italy. Okay. Then you need to do what's required to make that happen, right? Not try your hardest, right? And maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Do what's required. And so point is, that's sort of embedded in our culture here. And these are the kinds of things that aren't really talked about, right? These are the things that sometimes
it's a hard exercise.
It's a hard exercise. And, by way of example, right? We had an offsite meeting. It was 3 days. If those of you listen to our podcast, we talked about it. And we came up with what we thought was a good mission statement.
Yeah, we were excited. We checked the box.
And what happened last night?
Well, you were away for 3 days and you didn't have much else to think about but being away, and so you were reconsidering, and I was like, oh, guess we have to have another offsite.
I basically blew it up.
You blew it up
because I got to think about what does that mean? I was reading it,
but it's good. It's
good. And I was sort of like, wah wah.
Well, it sounded scripted. I think it sounded maybe more cookie cutter than really who we are and what we want to be. We wanted to have a pop to it. We wanted to have an excitement to it.
Who are you and what do you do? Right? Like, who are you? What do you do? Like, why? What is your passion? Right? And so for us, it was a good mission statement and it sounded good on paper. But when I started thinking about it and speaking it, like, okay, what is it going to be like? What is it like? It just wasn't hitting. And so, if you work for me, my management team, executive team knows that, they're going to get random blow-ups at, not like mean, but just like, hey, I've been thinking. And
is this a confession session?
Boom, 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 boom.
It's a confession session. Okay.
It's your fault because you got me into that new Remarkable
I know.
pad, and I was like going to town on it last night with all different things. So, and we talked about that. Actually, Tina and I just released a podcast about AI and using AI, and I've sort of been getting into like AI addicted right now, ChatGPT and a couple others. And so I was like, give me a mission statement for blah, 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 blah. And it was really cool. And so, but it's still got to be you, right? It's got to be what you're all about. And we just see, I know we're going off, but I just see too many firms and they stick to this mission statement, or God forbid, don't even have a mission statement. And it's a huge mistake because if you really think about it, like a mission statement, it's really like your roadmap. It's really like the core of who you are, and it gives you some direction on what and how you do things and why.
And we have core values, and we've done podcasts on core values, but I feel like if it's something that you can convey to your clients, we have core values. Here's what they are. Here's our mission statement. If you are proud to convey your mission statement to your clients, then you check that box. But if you're like, I wouldn't really tell it to anybody, you're not proud to wear it like a badge, probably need to reconsider it. That would be my standard.
Right.
I don't know if you feel.
Yeah, no, it's which is sort of like where I was going with it. Like, it wasn't I wasn't proud. To me, it just didn't sound like us. Right?
Like, hey, Frank, my mission statement is
wah, 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 wah,
versus,
right?
Hey, Tom, our mission is blah.
Right. Well, look, it's why we don't do a scripted podcast, right? And advisor talk is meant to be advisor talk, like you're joining a conversation with two advisors or some industry experienced people, and we're having a conversation, right? That's what we're passionate about. That's how we operate. And we felt like our mission statement should match us, what we do, how we do it, and why we do it.
Right. And that's the sort of the guidelines. When you're sitting with your team like we did, I mean, it was arduous. There was a lot of banter back and forth, but you all have to be rowing in the same direction. And trust me, it is not easy to get there. I mean, we're a management team of multiple people.
12, I think.
12 people. Like so can you imagine? But that said, it's still an extremely important, critical exercise to do, because I want to be able to wake up tomorrow and be like, hey, Joe, advisor client, we just redid our mission statement. And I know you're a business owner now. I helped you get there. You should do it too. They see us in a different light.
Yeah.
So I think that's the message.
And I may say something a little bit controversial here, and I apologize for saying it, but it's the truth. It's got to flow off your tongue, right? And I know LPL just changed their mission statement. I have a lot of friends there, and I like the firm. It was too wordy. Like it didn't flow right. And it's a little bit dry. It's a little bit like corporate want, right? Because I think what I'm saying is, because I know the firm is more than that. Like I know, like if it was me, I would have a way better mission statement than that. That would be more powerful than.
Right. Does your mission statement actually match who you are? If an outsider looking in,
well, it matches who they are, right? Like the words match who they are.
Is what it gives off.
Exactly.
Is the
vibe and the
aura,
energy.
The aura that it gives off.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's good. Or wow, that really explains who they are.
Right.
Sounds exciting.
Right. So
that's what we're trying to accomplish. It's not easy.
It's not easy, and you have to be really honest with yourselves. And we came up with this exercise, which is again, we talked about another podcast, but I'll just give you the advice on it. We did our offsite, and the whole premise of doing our offsite, and I got this idea from Alex Ramosi, which is if you follow him online, he's got some great business stuff. Actually going to his headquarters in a couple of weeks, actually in October. But he said, imagine you were a private equity firm and you bought your company, right? What are the things that you would change after you bought the company? Like if you're basically going to break down your company and say, I'm coming in, I just bought it. I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to review everything, including the people that you have working there, right? Who would you keep? Who wouldn't you keep? Why? Mission statement, vision, all of those things. That's what we did. We went in and said, all right, with the team that we have, if we came in today and bought this firm, what would we change? Processes, technology, systems.
Mission statements.
It took us 3 days, right? It took us 3 days. And it wasn't even like an annual meeting, right? But it was one of these things that we hadn't done in a long time. And I just basically wanted to it's almost like taking the house down to the studs, right? Like it's got great bones, but we got to do some major reconstruction, right?
A refresh.
Right.
Well, again, because
not major reconstruction because there's nothing wrong, but it's like I use the analogy of a Formula One race, right? So, right, and I won't get into it, but every week the Formula One cars, they have to improve their car, otherwise they're gonna lose to the next competitor, and you can only make so many changes. But you always have to improve. Football coming in every week, you always have to improve, right? Last year the Eagles started off really strong, and as soon as everybody figured out what their offensive scheme was, it was easy to defend.
Right. So now they have to pivot.
And they didn't pivot.
Who they want to be week to week.
Right. So you got to do the same thing. So, don't be afraid of, what is it? Don't be afraid of.
Be afraid of change.
Be afraid of change.
Wait, no, it's don't be afraid of change. Right. Be afraid of not changing.
And that just goes to show you that these are not scripted, right? This is what
That's
we wanted
a plaque
to talk,
in my office.
This is what we wanted to talk about today, right? Change. So if you're, as a business owner, if you're a business owner, and if you're going to be a business owner, you need to be able to thrive in change, thrive with change, almost to a degree that you need someone to basically hold you back a little bit. That's what I use our team for, right? Like, all right, Frank, that's a little bit much, right? But you want to revel in change. Change is where growth happens, and pushing yourself to be better. You can always be better, okay? The processes you have can always be better. I said this morning to our team can be better, right? We can give better advice. We can offer better services. We can offer it in a better way. We can make it easier for advisors to make a move, right? Through having better services and a better process.
We can make our culture here at our firm better to attract better people, higher quality people.
Right.
And that's what we're doing.
Right. For many years, our sort of like singular motto heading into the year, like our one word focus was better. Because you can always be better. You can be a better parent. You can be a better father, a better wife, a better husband, a better business person, better at paddleball. Well, you're pretty good at paddleball. Pickleball,
no,
excuse me.
I don't play paddleball.
Pickleball, sorry.
Don't offend the paddleball players.
Sorry. I know there's a difference.
Yes.
But you always get better. And so the point is, don't be afraid of change. Just revel in change. Be excited about change, because change is going to really, if done the right way and honest with the right vision, can take it to new heights. So anyway, if you want to talk about your practice and some of the things that you might want to think about doing, obviously the best person to call is this woman right here.
Stacey Frank. What's my name?
Stacey with an E.
Stacey with an E.
I know what your name is.
You got stuck there for a minute.
No, I did not.
Okay, what's your name?
I was trying to switch it up.
Trick question. My number is 856-816-6322. You can reach me at Stacey at eliteconsultingpartners.com. Stacey, don't forget the E. Or who are you?
Frank at eliteconsultingpartners.com, 856-316-4651. And I will gladly have you talk to Stacey, since she knows more than I do.
Good tag team.
Anyway.
All right. Have a great night.
Peace out.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. If you're looking for more advice or solutions on any topics in the financial services industry, or you just want to subscribe to our podcast, head on over to eliteconsultingpartners.com/podcasts.